Power Project crew, welcome to today's show. This episode was recorded on May 1st, and it is with a very inspiring and encouraging guest, the one and only Joan MacDonald. Joan is 73 years old. She is jacked. She is tanned. She is, like I said, very inspiring. She just recently started weight training specifically about 3 years ago, and she's been able to drop about 40 to 50 pounds and keep it off. What's really interesting is before that, she still was going to a gym. She just wasn't really finding her groove. She wasn't really working with somebody until her daughter actually tried to help her. And what you'll learn is, when she was unhealthy, she was unhappy. Now that she is healthy, she's now happy. A lot of this stuff correlates with each other. Life and the gym runs parallel. We always talk about that sort of thing on this podcast. But like I said, man, we are so inspired and fired up for having her on the podcast. She explained how, if you're in a slump and you're blaming it on the quarantine and the lockdown, that's just an excuse. If you really want to get in shape, it has to come from inside. It has to come in from you. Again, kind of some stuff that like Ross Edgley said not too long ago. And I mean, we were all, like I said, we're all fired up from this episode. So thank you, Joan, for taking the time out of your day to be on our show. We sincerely appreciate that. We think everybody from all age groups will get a ton out of this episode, not just in the older age group, but in any age group. I mean, it's an amazing thing when you can speak to somebody who has a ton of life experience and really pick their brain about and what makes them tick. So if you are finding yourself right now in a slump, or maybe somebody that is, or you want to motivate somebody to get started, this is a great example because she didn't pick up weight training until she was 71 when she first started. So, a lot of people might feel like, oh, it's too late for me, or I have aches and pains. I have this, I have that. Here's a perfect example of what's possible. So if you guys do find this episode valuable, please share it with as many people as you can, because we think her message is extremely powerful. And if this episode does give you some motivation, but you're not sure exactly where to turn to, please head over to markbell.com. Markbell.com is where Mark actually posts his daily workouts every single day. Right now, he is without a gym, so he's posting a bunch of content with body weight movements, slingshot, hip circles, a bunch of stuff that's easily accessible to everybody. So even if you don't have all those things, there's alternatives, right? Like if you can do a barbell squat, you can do a body weight squat, that sort of thing. And right now it is absolutely free for 30 days. All you have to do is go to markbell.com, register, and you'll gain access to the entire website for absolutely free. Really hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you guys like the conversation, please find Joan's YouTube and Instagram, or it's anything we can find on her. Find that in the YouTube description and the iTunes show notes. Reach out to her. She's going to love it. She's just the sweetest person we've had on the podcast. Let her know that you guys heard her on our podcast, and thank her for inspiring and motivating all of us. So that's it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this show with Joan MacDonald.
Oh, Andrew's frozen. Okay, there we go.
That computer's older than our guest today, I think.
Dude. I mean, with how it's been acting, yeah, it's I should say how it's been performing compared to how she's performing, definitely.
I'm curious to see her mindset and stuff, not necessarily towards like fitness, but her mindset towards, I don't know, just America, and men. Today's men. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know from this lady today. Super excited to get an opportunity to talk to Jack Joanne today. She's 73 years old?
Yeah, something like that. 73, 74 years old. And that'd be funny. Yeah, I wonder if her views are similar to like Elliot Hulse.
I wonder if is it Joanne or Joan? Joanne?
Joan. No, you're right. You're right. Joan.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Man, this is going to be crazy. I want to know really what made her shift, because in her pictures before she started lifting, she looks like she never lifted ever.
No.
Now she's jacked as hell.
Yeah, when she's like flexing and stuff, you could see some biceps going on, and you see some shoulder muscles, and you see some back. She looks awesome. We got to get on that level and figure out what she's doing.
Yeah,
what's your cycle, bro?
Well, yeah. Speaking of cycles, what the heck is those cows in Nebraska on these days? The Piedmontese cows. They're so jacked. What's that all about?
when we had the Piedmontese people, I talked to them privately, and I was like, look, what's going on with these cows? We need to know, like, what are they running? And they basically just said it's a combination of growth hormone, insulin, testosterone, but mainly the main thing is what we all speculated, and it's tren. The cows are on tren, and then but by eating Piedmontese cow, certified Piedmontese, of course, you're going to get all the benefits of the tren without the negative. And I think that's what people are missing. Is I think people get upset and they think I'm going to get the negative sides of tren and be all angry, but no, you don't get that. You just get the positive.
Yeah. When I took tren in the past, I used to sweat so much, and okay, you know what? I think I'm taking this joke a little bit too far. The joke's gone too far, but yeah, the Piedmontese steaks are amazing.
The politically correct way to put it is that these cows have a higher protein content and a much less fat, and that's the steak that we actually are able to get from Piedmontese beef. I don't know how they do it. Their steaks are leaner, they're more tender, they taste better, they cook faster. Oddly enough, they defrost faster. Everything is so much better from Piedmontese. The only way to get it even better is to get 25% off. Head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. My allergies are killing me today again. I
had 2 Piedmontese New York strips last night, and the way that I try to do stuff, because I have hard time controlling myself, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to eat this amount. I go sit down like a normal human and like concentrate on my food and eat it and chew it up. Didn't work. I rifled through the first one in like 4 seconds, and then there I was again, going right for the second one. It's like I need more hurdles and more barriers, I guess, to set up than just not sitting down with it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. You guys, I'm super excited though, because I'm gonna cook up some burgers tonight, and this is the first time that I've used their patties. I've heard you and Andrew both talk about the Piedmontese patties, and this is the first time I'm about to have it. And they look like they have a good amount of fat too. So like I can't wait.
I'm not sure exactly, but like to me, they just the ground beef tastes better. Like it just tastes a little bit different. But the hamburger, you're gonna love the patties, dude. I think actually that's a good move. I think I'm gonna do the same.
Sick.
They have I don't know if they've I guess they've sent them to me, but I haven't had a chance to try them yet. They have 75-25 beef. I haven't had an opportunity.
Oh, I haven't had an opportunity.
That's a holy grail for carnivore right there.
Yeah, they're calling them like restaurant style patties or something like that, and I'm like, man, is that all it takes? But dude, you got to let us know, because I'm curious how those come out.
Yeah,
I haven't had an opportunity to check them out yet. They keep messaging me like, "Have you tried them yet?" But they don't know. I'm in quarantine over here. I'm
man,
staying in Bodega Bay. I'm not at my normal residence, so out here enjoying the sun.
There you go. All right, looks like Joan's here.
Oh,
all right.
Yo. Okay.
She's connecting to the audio.
I'm in.
All right.
Nice.
Hey, absolutely awesome to have you here on the podcast today. Really appreciate your time. Kind of the first thing I want to ask is, we understand that you got a lot of help from your daughter in turning the corner. What, you can only get so much help from somebody else. What was the deciding factor for you that made you decide some years ago to start to get more into fitness and more into health and into changing your life?
Well, I didn't like what I saw, for one thing. I didn't like how I felt. I was not a happy person. And Michelle kind of pointed that out to me. And she gave me a way to start, which was joining her YHH group. And she said, you'll learn more from the group. It's ordinary people wanting to either get bigger, get smaller, change the way they look, blah, blah. And I had to think about it, but it didn't take a lot thinking. I knew I had to do something soon. The longer I waited, the older I was getting. So she threw down the gauntlet and I picked it up, and I told her I would join. And I didn't really realize what was all entailed with this, because I had to learn technology and I had no idea what I was doing. Nothing.
How old were you?
I was closing in on my 71st birthday. Like started in January and I was 71 in March. Yeah.
Have you messed around with any fitness up into that point before?
Oh, I had joined the gym. I was a gym member for about 15 years, but I was working on my own. I didn't have any real guidance. And really the big thing of losing weight and getting some muscle into it was the food. That's a big thing, like how you eat. When Michelle told me I had to eat 5 times a day, I'm going, I can't even eat hardly 3 times a day. I know I was snacking, but like having meals 5 times a day, and I was going to get smaller, like that just didn't compute.
What else was like added to like your meals? Like, I know a lot of people before they start, they don't think they need to eat as much protein. Like, was that like a big aspect of your nutrition? Like, how exactly did it change other than eating multiple more meals more times a day?
Well, it's smaller meals, and it took me a long time. Actually, it took over a year to figure out that my before and after meals of workout were bigger than the other 3. Actually, the last 2 of the day are supposed to be the smaller meals, but to me, it's before, after. Then I have I usually have my smoothie because I've really figured out those ones are the good ones. And then I still have my 4th meal is a little bit bigger than my 3rd and my 5th meal. 5th meal is sort of getting everything in for the rest of the day to make up my calories. Yeah.
A massive problem with older folks is older and younger, kids and people like basically over the age of 50, I think, they just don't get enough protein in. That must have been a huge shift for you. Are you eating a lot more protein?
I'm eating a lot more protein, yeah. But I get a lot of the protein from my the protein powder. I still like my meats and like I have fish 2 times a week at least. I like pork and chicken mainly. Or I have ground turkey, which I cook up and drain for to add with a lot of the meals, because you can add it to so many things, the ground stuff. So, yeah.
Before you were on more of like a like regimented like nutrition plan, did you have like any challenges with food, like whether it be food addictions or just kind of things like that?
No, you got like, okay, there's times of the month when you want sweets, and you'll eat them. I have savories that I like. And yeah, it becomes a bit of a challenge because you give into that. You buy junk food is what you do, and you eat it. And you think, well, it's not much of anything, but it is. It adds a lot of weight on eventually. And most of it is loaded with salt. I've learned to look at my foods now before, when I buy them, make sure that they're low sodium. And I needed that anyway because I have kidney issues for the last 10 years. And I don't ever want to go on dialysis. My dad was on dialysis. And that's part of what took him. And it was the salt intake. And I have managed to, I can't reverse it apparently, but I have managed to keep it on an even keel for that 10 years. So I knew I had to watch my salt intake That's the only thing that the specialist talked about, really. But yeah, you tend to nibble, and it's not a meal. But this nibbling is like, I don't know what you call it. I feel like a little mouse all the time. I'm always nibbling at something. Anyway, I don't look like a mouse. Full-blown rat. Anyway. Anything else?
What was it? Yeah, what was the heaviest body weight that you got up to, and approximately what's your weight at nowadays?
The biggest I was 205 in that. When I got to that, I'm going, oh my God, this is awful. And that was before Michelle got to me. And when I finally started with her, I think I was 198.8. And I am now 140.
Whoa. Wow, that's amazing. Were you kind of, when she came to you, were you kind of mad about what she was saying, or you just accepted it and knew it was true and you had to do something?
It was true. I was mad at myself, not at her, at myself, because I had let myself get into that state. And it's no one's fault but my own, even though I want to blame everybody else. We're awful. We have to blame somebody.
How did it feel to, the person that you raised and the person that you taught everything to and all these things is the person that turns around and saves you and encourages you to do something positive?
We switched roles, all right. No, she's a very, very smart girl. I've backed her all my life, all her life. Most of the decisions she has made have been learning experiences, and I believe fully in you making your own mistakes, but not to the point where it's detrimental to you. If I had thought she was going to make a decision that was going to harm her, I would have stepped in. Although she has, herself suffered from bulimia, and I wasn't aware, probably because I was working full time and trying to raise 3 kids with my husband, and we tried to keep them active, like keep them off the streets and away from drugs. And that was our main concern. I wasn't thinking about eating habits. I never thought about that. Never thought it was going to be an issue, But no, she is a very, very talented girl. She goes after what she believes in, and I would trust her. I trusted her with my life. She's phenomenal.
Were you on and off diets most of your life?
I tried all kinds of things, but nothing really worked. And my way of thinking is, if it's not sustainable, it's not any good. And none of these diets were like, try this for X number of weeks. Like, you couldn't live on what they promote in a lot of the diets. There's no way. I like my food. I just don't like preparing it. I've had to learn to prepare food ahead of time, or plan out meals ahead of time. It's been a really hard lesson for me. I guess I was always one that my food tasted good, but it was just thrown together. Like, I knew what I wanted. I knew how I grew up, and just put food together, and either people liked it or they didn't.
Is there anything that made your planning process easier as you were learning how to plan? Because when a lot of people are trying to get into that habit, they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to eat next, or they're not used to planning. So what are some things that made it easy for you to plan and build that habit like you have now?
Well, it's still not easy. The thing is, because I'm still learning, the macros is I can't explain it exactly because it was never explained to me. It was just follow this and do it, and you'll get there. It's like every food in my macros is made of a component of protein, carbs, and good fats. So if you say I'm going to have steak, My Macros has already got that broken down. You just have to put in the amount that you're going to eat, and then you'll know what it is that you've eaten. So you can eventually learn to mix certain foods together so that you have a really nice meal, and you'll have all of what you are supposed to have in that meal. So if I'm supposed to have like 1,400 or 1,400 calories per day, I break that into 5, and then I have a higher amount of protein and carbs and a lower amount of fat. So it's usually like right now I'm at 130 protein, 120 carbs, and 35 fat per day. So you're going to break that down into the 5 meals. So I guess you can do it that way. Like you've got what you have, then you have the 5 meals, and then you have to break it down into the before and after workout is a little higher, and one other meal is a little higher. And usually the last 2 of the day are supposed to be a lower, and no starches in the last 2 meals. Like there's so much I had to learn. Like, I'd go through this one part for a month or so, and then, yeah, but I told you, and I go, oh, I got to read this again. It was always relearning something or reinforcing something that I have missed along the way. But when you finally get it, if you're a little faster than I am, which I'm not the fastest, you can break it down so much easier because it's there for you to look at. I'm just lazy. Sorry to say.
There's a very interesting balance between like how much energy you put out versus, how much energy your body like wants, your body's energy like needs, So if you lose 6 pounds and you're super pumped and super excited about it, it might be logical to think like, wow, if I just cut out one extra meal, that would, help me lose weight faster. If I walk a little bit more, but those things, as you know, can lead to disaster. So you went too far one way and got bigger than you wanted. Did you go too far the other way? And was that part of the learning process as well?
No, actually the 5 meals a day is pretty good. And the thinking of it is that your body knows that it has to work on the food. So if you keep feeding it every 3 hours, it keeps working, and that speeds up your metabolism eventually. Like it didn't happen overnight. Like I didn't learn all this overnight. It's taken 3 years to figure out what's going on. So I would always I'm like the kid. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Why can't I have this as opposed to that? I'm always asking why. So she would have to sit me down and explain again what it was all about. But yeah, it's like your body has a mind of its own, and when it is starved, it holds on to the fat, because with the fat you can burn a little longer. But I want less fat in my body So I got to keep feeding it food, and protein is the body works harder to digest or disperse the nutrients from the protein than it does through carbohydrates or fat. Whoever thought of wanting to have fat in my diet? But most everything has got some form of fat in it. The carbs I like, but again, like when my daughter and son-in-law break things down, they also look at the shape of the body. They can tell what kind of diet or what kind of food this person should have, or what that one should have, and the effects that it's going to have. That's why I trust them, because they know instinctively, just looking at somebody, what they can get away with.
Sometimes when people hear about a certain diet or just hear the term diet, they automatically think that they're going to be starving, they're going to be hungry.
Denial. They think they're being denied something, and that's not what a diet is. No.
So, have you found yourself hungry at all?
Oh yeah, there's times when I've been hungry.
No, without kind of like starving yourself, like being without food that you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
No, I think I started out, she started me out with 1,000 calories a day. And I went along like that for about 2-3 months. And then I told her when she was visiting one day, I says, you know something, I'm getting awful hungry anymore. So she upped my calorie intake, and she says, you've got to tell me when you're hungry so I can change what you're eating, like what you're supposed to have an intake of. Because that means your metabolism is starting to kick in. And I think most people don't really understand what is happening with their bodies with food. They just, I eat not because I'm really hungry, because it's there. And you should never do that unless if you've got a really fast metabolism, you can probably get away with that. But most people are like I was. They start nibbling on stuff, and then they start packing on the pounds, and it's hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Were there some other habits you had to adapt to? Did you have to maybe watch less TV or something like that? Was there a habit that was connected to the food that you maybe had to cut back on or anything?
No, I don't watch TV hardly at all. And if I did, it was only in the evening. And I had some favorite programs, but they don't have them on anymore. And I just don't find TV that interesting. Unfortunately, or fortunately.
Joan, you were saying something when you were saying something about diet and denial. And I feel like there was something you're about to say there. Or do you know what it was?
I think most people, when you say diet, are actually thinking that you're denying yourself something. And then when I started this, there was just a few people, not too many, would say things like, oh, what can you eat? What can you eat? I'm going, I can eat anything. It's just how I put it together. And, it's like, okay, you're dieting, so you must be not having what you want. No, that's not what it's all about. Diet is the food that you partake of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything that you try and everything that you do in life, it's going to come with some rules, anything that you're going to commit yourself to, you get married or you go to college and you want to get a degree. There's going to be if you want a degree, then you're going to have to show up and you're going to have to do the work in order to get the degree.
That's right.
And when it comes to nutrition, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very true. And when I first started out I think Michelle wanted me to see greater weight loss. And after like just the first couple of weeks, I'm going, look, I don't care about losing a whole bunch of weight real fast. What I want is gradual and maybe keep it off. Because a lot of people can lose, 5-10 pounds just by changing their diet and nothing else. But I wanted to look as good as I felt with losing it, and I didn't care that I had to take a little longer to do it. But when I look back on it, that first 6 months, I lost 40 pounds. In 7 or 8 months, I had lost 45 pounds. And it seemed like every so many months, I would lose another 5 pounds. And I wasn't even trying. It was just, that's the way I was working out. And I thought I was not looking too bad, but I certainly didn't have the definition that I have now at 7 or 8 months. Like the definition I have in my arms, especially, and even in my legs, I find a big difference in my back. It's just coming with just doing the same types of exercises, only maybe doing more or less with less weight or more weight, depending on if it's a lot of weight, then it's less repetitions. And if it's very light weights, then it's more repetitions. Everything changes constantly. And I'm still changing. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm watching and waiting. What's going to happen to me? But I can't see me at 80 years old doing this. But I still would like to have the results.
I love it. I find it really inspiring that, it might be many decades for some people that are listening to the show that they take action, with their fitness, or they take action in doing something that maybe they have never done before. And I think that you're a great role model for a lot of people to look up to. My mother-in-law, she has type 2 diabetes, and I've helped her in the gym and showed her how to squat and how to do some different movements. And she's been doing really well. She has controlled her blood sugar really well through diet, exercise, just simple stuff. She goes outside, goes for a walk, and she kind of is questioning now. She's like, to be honest, I don't know what I was doing with myself before because this feels so good. I was like, yeah, but it takes a while, takes a while to
get to
push.
This point.
Yeah, it takes a little while.
But it doesn't matter. You want to have. This is what my daughter kept saying to me. You work to be the best of what you can. Now, if it's only to this degree, then it's to this degree. We don't all develop the same way because we're all different. We all have, but I have a tendency to go gung-ho. I've had my son-in-law say, Joan, calm down. You don't need to do it that hard. But I figured, well, I have to work up a sweat. I've got to, if I'm going to have any results, I've got to do this thing, Yeah. And the thing is, well, I have been able to do it. And right now, I injured my backside. I don't know how I did it. If I was doing too many squats or if I just moved the wrong way, probably. And I've got a problem with that. And I've had to reduce my workout even at home quite a bit in the last week and a half. And I'm going, I'm losing patience with it because I'm going, why doesn't it just go away?
Yeah,
it won't just go away. We've got to work through it. I'm doing virtual physiotherapy. There's a few exercises that have relieved some of the pain, and I can sleep through the night now. I'm a tosser and turner during my sleep hours, and I couldn't do that before. It would wake me up. I was in such pain in my bum and leg, and I can get through the night now without worrying too much about it.
Yeah.
It's just during the day that, okay, you better watch what you're doing and not overdo it. So if I have an exercise that I'm trying to get through, and if I feel the least twinge in that area, I stop, because I know that by progressing, like pushing through that part, it's only going to make it worse. I want to get it fixed so I can go on with how I was before. I was able to run up and down stairs. That's how good I got. And now I can't.
You know, Joan, because first off, I can't wait to talk more about like your exercise habits and stuff, because that's a big deal. You're absolutely jacked. It's crazy. But I want to ask you about this, because you were mentioning how you would like nibble on food here and there. And for myself in the past, I was the snack king. Like I would always have some sort of small little thing on deck in case I didn't have a big meal. And that was one of the big things that always kept body fat on me. I had to just get snacks out of the house. I don't have it anymore. So for you, how did you fix that situation? How did you go about dealing with potential snacking?
Well, it's hard being in a house with someone who always has snacks around. And my husband has snacks, and he's not to give them up because of me. So I was starting to go down to Mexico more often, and that's where I would be right now. And I don't have any snacks down there because they don't have it in the house. And it was easy. If without the snacks, it's easy to lose weight without even trying. It is. Yeah. It's funny, but it is.
It's true.
You got it. If it's there, you're going to eat it, right? You know?
Yes.
What's that? It's got to go in the mouth.
How long have you been married for?
53 years.
Oh, wow. Our co-host here, Andrew, he's going to get married coming up, I think, in about 2 weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the key factor? How do we hold it together for so long?
Being able to compromise. That's a big deal. Like, but don't always be the one. Like, it's got to be two-way street here. It's come pretty close at times. I'm pretty close. But yeah, I think if you are able to compromise and work it out and be agreeable, if it's not a major thing, then be able to back down. If it's major, then you have to work it through. Mm.
What about like date night or having time for each other? Now that you're older and the kids are out of the house and stuff like that, you're probably around each other quite a bit. But like, was that ever a thing? Was that ever important, or you guys always made time for that anyway? Or?
I think it's important, but it hasn't happened. Unfortunately, we're together because we're used to each other. That's awful to say. Smack my face. Okay, I didn't say that. He's not going to listen anyway.
You mentioned earlier that you had to get used to technology and stuff like that. And were you referring to using an app to count your calories and things like that?
Oh, all that stuff. Yeah. Even I didn't have a phone. I've got an Apple phone now. I had an emergency phone, like one of those flip ones that I only used if I was in trouble. iPad. I've got an Apple iPad. That's what I'm talking to you on. I finally bought an Apple computer. I still haven't really worked it out. I wanted it for business part of this, but I need someone to show me the ropes first. I have a computer, which, just a personal computer, which I play games on when I get bored. But otherwise, I'm always busy because I've got a big yard and flower beds and all this stuff. My backyard looks like a park. I like riding my bike for exercise. I got to do that today. It's not too bad out there now.
Do you help your friends, with technology, with their phones and stuff? I'd imagine, like, I could picture you around your buddies and stuff, and they don't know what they're doing with their phone. You're like, give me that darn thing.
No. I don't think I'm smart enough for that. I have enough trouble trying to do it myself. If someone asked me something, I probably would try and figure it out with them. Like that, because that's hit and miss with me. That's how I even learned on my computer. No one taught me. I just, they showed me how to turn it on and off. But I would just kept pressing buttons. That's what my daughter says. Don't press anything until you know what you're doing. But I want to know what this does and what that does.
You have quite the following on social media. What are your thoughts on like Instagram and stuff? Like you must find it motivating. Otherwise, I don't think you would be doing it, right?
700,000. Holy crap.
I know. I saw that today and I'm going, whoa, I'm over 700,000 now. My daughter got me on that. When was it? I think it was November of 2018. She wanted for me to be able to talk to other people because I was more of an introvert, and she thought it would help if I, converse with other people because I didn't have to be in the same room with them. I could just talk to them if I wanted to. So I thought, well, I took it kind of seriously. Okay, if people are willing to talk to me, I guess I should talk back to them. So it started out that way, and then. Actually, that winter, I'm pretty sure it was that winter because it was the New Year's thing where my hip thrust went viral. I think it was 2000, like New Year's of 2018, and it just went crazy, and it just kept building more and more. And then I guess as more people saw me and talked to me and talked to their friends, and it's sort of just like a dominoes effect. And then I got on, before that I started with the magazine. That was a wild thing. Just different little things that my daughter got me into, like a photo shoot. Never did a photo shoot in my life. Don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, they call me a natural, and I'm going, okay, whatever. Just tell me what to do. It's hard work. If you're a model, I'll tell you that, because you feel like a human pretzel. Head's going one way, your body's turned another way, your hips another way, and you got to hold it. And I'm going, really? And keep smiling. Yeah, really.
All of this just from a hip thrust.
All this from a hip thrust.
Powerful hips over there.
Well, you try it. It's 200 and what?
Yeah,
215 pounds. Oof. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it is. But she just kept putting it on, and I wasn't paying much attention. She just says, "Try that one. Try that one."
Was your husband receptive in the beginning? And what are his thoughts now with like social media and everything, how it's blown up?
He wasn't that receptive in the beginning. And he always made fun of me because it took longer for me to figure out what I was going to eat than it did to eat it. He'd always make fun of me. I think he's has come around quite a bit. He does the grocery shopping, and he's starting to buy what I say I want, or like what I should have. Yeah, he's doing pretty good, and he. I guess a little bit of the backlash. People. Well, I've seen Joan on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. And so he gets, he doesn't really say too much to me about it, but I hear it from other people that he brags about me a bit.
Nice.
Has there been any negative backlash that you've dealt with? Like, has there been any comments that actually like hurt you or really bugged you that you've seen? I'd imagine most of it's probably very positive. I would guess.
I would say 95% of it's positive. Once in a while, I get a comment, and I have some people. They're telling me I'm not real. I'm on steroids, and I'm going, what are you talking about? You don't even know me. You don't know what I eat, what I do. The only supplements I have are protein powders, the BCAAs that Women's Best has. Like it's like a powdered thing that helps with their amino acids or whatever you put in your water. It makes it tastier. I guess it has a little more benefits with it, but I don't think they're steroids. Omega-3,
fish oil.
What do you call it? Fish oil, or the omega-3, just plain oil. I take by the tablespoon once a day, and multivitamins. How could that be steroids?
Yeah, we make jokes about that.
Yeah, but I don't know if you ever saw the YouTube one with Doug Doucette. Is it
Greg Doucette?
Yeah.
Or Greg Doucette?
Yeah.
Doucette? Yeah. He was one of the guys at the gym said, "Here, you got to listen to this. You got to listen to this."
Oh.
And he brought it up to me, and this guy was talking away. And then he gets halfway through, and then he really starts ranting and saying, what I think is she's got to be having help, like steroids. And he was ranting on and on. I started laughing. I'm going, what the heck is he talking about? Yeah. And then I told other people, I said, you got to listen to this guy rant. Like it was just funny. And the kid said to me, he says, that's a backhanded compliment to you that you look as good as you do without taking steroids, because him and his father and their friends, like, they seen me work out. They know what I do, and I'm not taking anything but water that's got a bit of amino acids in it.
I think people aren't used to seeing women with muscle still, to this day, which they should. At some point, you figure they should get over it, but most women aren't built like you, and I think that's what people are recognizing, and they're so like, holy crap, because you've been working out hard for about 2 years, and that's pretty fast progress. But again, like most of the time with a lot of females, they're working out really hard, they're trying to do their diet the best they can, and they don't really see maybe some of the same results that you're enjoying. But what kind of workout are you doing? Are you kind of lifting heavy? Are you doing more bodybuilding? Do you use a combination of things? Like, how are you training?
I do a combination of things, but it's when you see those pictures of me I'm flexing my muscle. That's not what I look like all the time. It's a flex. And I look pretty ordinary. I don't think I look anything, but when I do my exercises, yes, I can see when they're taking pictures of me and I see them afterwards. Yeah, my back looks pretty darn good. My shoulders.
Pretty darn. It's extremely good. I gotta say.
I don't know. I can only go by what someone tells me. And my daughter gets me to pose a certain way, and okay, put your hand beside your hip, and that's what happens. And if I was just relaxed, you wouldn't see that.
Joan, I'm really curious about this too. On top of what Mark just asked, before you started doing all the weight training that you're doing now, and you got into the exercise, you said you had a gym membership, but at that point, did you enjoy exercising? Like you mentioned that you're about to go on a bike ride after this. Did you enjoy it? Because now it looks like you enjoy it and it's become a habit. So I want to know, how did it shift into something that you really like to do and it's just part of your life?
Well, I didn't have much trouble going to the gym. I would do it every other day. I thought, every other day should be fine. So in 2 weeks' time, I would have, 7? Yeah. 7 workouts in 2 weeks' time. And I thought that should be enough. I wasn't losing as well as I wanted to, but I did have a trainer at one point, and with her, I lost a lot. And I know, like with her, she because she took all my measurements and that, and she goes, I've never had anyone that I've trained lose weight off their neck like you do. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, yeah, I got a neck. I didn't think I had one before. It's sort of like my head sitting on the shoulder. I take after my dad, I guess, in some respects. But again, I can't understand why I have developed the muscles that I have, except maybe I've got more testosterone in my body than I should have. I don't know. How do I know?
You were mentioning earlier that you were not happy. Looks like you're really happy now. You're smiling a lot. Have you noticed that you smile a lot more, and you are just happy or talking to people and more confident and things like that? Yeah, because you're where you are, and I'm where I am. I can easily do that. I might clam up if I was in. Like, are you a bit of here? Are you kind of an introvert a little bit? A little bit of that, yeah. Usually that's what I was. I ended up being that way because I can remember as a kid, my mom was always, because they came from a very secluded village, it wasn't normal for you to talk to strangers. And, like she was very protective that way. And I came from a large family. There was 7 of us kids. So, but I was the oldest girl, and I kind of had to take on, be a second mom to my siblings, because my mom went out to work, and, it's just a different way that I grew up. And I ended up being more, I wasn't a party girl. I always had to be home looking after my siblings. So anyway, it changed me, and now I'm changing again, and I like it.
I'm curious about this because obviously the time you grew up is very different than the times like these times now, like internet, all these changes. It's wild. But are there any things that you see like currently that you're like, wow, like it's weird that these kids are doing this, or it's weird that they're like, you see kids like their eyes are glued to their phone permanently. Like it's like there's always a phone in front of them, and that's not how things used to be. What do you think? What do you think? I really don't like that. When I first saw how the phones were being used when they started really getting popular, you have a family walking down the street. Mother is pushing a stroller with a kid or 2 in it, walking with other people. They're all on their phones. And I'm trying to figure out why are they on their phones when they're together? Like that, I could never figure out. And even when my daughter started into this training stuff and that, she always had to have her phone. Go to a restaurant, she's got her phone, and she's doing. I don't appreciate that. Like, why am I here if we're not going to talk? You're on the phone. It was to me, it was like a social snub when people gather together and they're all on their own individual phones. I'm going, what's the point? I could never figure it out. What is and I still can't figure out what the point is. If you're with people, be with the people in person, be there now. Something, this pandemic has really done a good number on a lot of people where they have to be home. They have to pay attention to people, to other people, like their kids or their spouse or whatever, because you can't do anything else. You've got your phone that you can phone people, but you're stuck in a situation. And it's changing a lot of people. The way that their priorities are going to change. And I think
it's a good thing. It's the technology. Just think of it. If we lost all this technology, what the heck would you do? If you don't know how to socialize, on your own, and you can't use a phone, what are you going to do? Shrivel up and die? You've got to realize that we need to step back. I don't know. That's just me. I'm spouting again.
I agree with you 100%. And I actually think that we should pretend that we don't have these technologies. They're going to try to use technology to get us out of this. They think that they could possibly have apps to detect who has it, who doesn't, and so on. And I think the absolute reverse of that, since we've survived so long without it, we shouldn't have the interference of technology. I think it murks the waters and just makes things worse, personally.
Well, technology is great in its place, but it shouldn't take over your life. That's all I'm saying. It shouldn't be the be all and end all. It's just like money. Money's nice to have, but it shouldn't be the thing that you're living for. You can't take it with. You can spend foolishly. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble that way. But I think it's being present with people that's so much more important than all the technology or all the money you've got. You've just got to come back down to the basics, and we surround ourselves with things and not with what really matters. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's good. You got in shape at a really good time. I mean, you got in shape, before this pandemic hit. Otherwise, you would be, kind of a targeted thing of this coronavirus because of your age. But you're fit. Do you have concerns about it?
No. Nope. I don't have any. If whatever life hands you, you're going to have to deal with, right? Yeah. That's the only way I can look at it. I'm not going to sit around and stew about it. It's not going to get me anywhere.
No, I honestly, I love your outlook on that and what you just said, because a lot of people, because they're stuck at home, a lot of people are making the excuse I can't really get in shape now because now I don't have a gym. There's not really much I can do, but there's still so much you could do. What have you been doing now? Do you still have access to weights, or are you working out at home? You said you're going to bike.
I work out at home, and I have a limited amount of weights. I've only got 2 5-pound weights, 1 8-pound weight, 2 kettlebells at 15 pounds each. And I have the bands, the small ones and the long ones. Okay. And you can do an awful lot with just bands, never mind any other weights. Just that resistance training. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to keep at least stable. But what I've been doing, my daughter's got me doing, and I had to put it on hold because of the injury I've got, is a half-hour home workout without props, 2 bottles of laundry detergent with handles on them, or 2 jugs of water, 4-liter water bottles that you can work with, washcloths so your feet can slide. There's quite a few things that you can do without having any kind of props, and that you work with every day. It's just how you're working out with them. So I do a half hour. Usually it's 7 exercises, and it's 3 sets of those exercises in the half an hour. So I'm sweating by the time I've finished. I don't know how I've done. I just keep, but people keep telling me that I just look forward to your Saturday morning workout. And I'm going, good. I'm glad I could help somebody. But it's, they always say, well, how do I start? And answer is just keep moving. That's a lot of people are on the couch. They're sitting down, they're on their computer, they're doing but they're not moving, and you have to move. Just keep moving. Walking
walking's great.
Yeah.
What's like your best squat and what's your best like bench press? And I'm not sure if you deadlift and stuff like that too.
I'm not very good at the bench press because I've got a bum left shoulder. I do it, but I think what did I get? 70. The bar is usually 45 pounds, and I think it's 75 or 95 pounds is about the most I can lift.
Yeah, that's good.
It's if it wasn't for this one shoulder, I think I could do better, but I've got to work with what I got.
Have you ever tried a slingshot before? You ever seen those things? Slingshot for like bench press and push-ups. You ever seen that before?
Oh, you guys sent me some.
Oh, there you go.
Your company did.
Yeah, you got to give it a try when you bench press.
I tell you, that is a great thing when you're doing what is it? Your
push-ups, dips,
like
push-ups, blah blah blah. Brain fart. It's a great thing. I love it.
And then how about the squat and deadlift? Where are you at with that stuff?
I like the slingshot knee sleeves. They really make my legs feel like I can do it, like get down and get up. It's just that enough compression that I just feel stable. I really like it. I forgot I was going to tell you that. Thank you so much for sending that to me. They're great. Just absolutely great. Yeah.
So
I don't know how much I can. I've used the kettlebell at the gym. Their kilograms, 18 kilogram one. For the
swing
between your legs swings, and that's as high as I can go. And I don't with any of the barbells. I think 25 for most of it. I have used 30 in my what is it? Yeah.
Tricep. Yep.
Tricep overhead. That's as heavy as I can go. But as far as that's fine. I probably can't do that now because I haven't done it for so long. But that's about the biggest weight. And I've gone the hip thrust. I've been up to 225.
I'm curious about this, Joan. Before you started, because you were working out every other day, before you got into the shape you're in now, are there any pains that you used to have that you don't have anymore? I used to
have a lot of back pain, and I don't have that anymore because I think I've strengthened my back with the exercises that Michelle gave me earlier on. And I think a lot of people, that's their big complaint. They have back pain. And they're afraid to do anything about it. But the thing is, you're going to go through some discomfort getting rid of that back pain. It's not going to go away overnight. And as long as you don't do anything too crazy with weights, you've got to build up to do the reps and stuff like that and the weight. Always start off lower. You can pick up a 5-pound weight and you go, oh, this is nothing. But you try doing your
shoulder presses,
lateral raises with 5 pounds. When you have to do 20 of them, by the time you get to 20, they feel heavy.
That's a burner. Yeah.
And then 7.5, 8, 10, 12. Yeah. No, I've gone up to 12 pounds, and it's really getting hard because you can really feel it in the shoulder when you're doing the lateral raises. So, yeah, people tend to think, well, they pick up a weight and, well, that doesn't feel very heavy. But when it's the repetitions, you're doing anything repetitively, it's going to feel heavier and heavier the more times you do it. That's all what I found anyway. But yeah, I had back pain, and I don't very, very ever feel any back pain now.
That's awesome.
Are you
and
retired?
My knees?
Are you retired?
I've been retired for a lot of years.
Well,
and
so I got a question for you on that. Like, what's so like now that we're in quarantine, like a lot of people don't have like a schedule. But I think like if you don't have a schedule, if you don't set one yourself, then I think that you might really slide downhill. So somebody that's been retired for a long time, you probably have come to this realization yourself. Like it's just super important to have a routine. It's super important to kind of eat similar times a day, take a shower similar times a day. What could you share with us in that regard that's been helpful to you?
Well, I like doing my workouts in the morning because I just feel that I've got more energy, and I've kept that routine from before I was retired. There were certain things I did each day at the same time pretty well, and I've tried to keep that, within an hour of each thing that I do, like I've got on schedule. You have to keep a plan, a sort of a loose plan, at least, if you're going to get anywhere. Otherwise, you don't know what you're at. You don't know which end is up even. But did I answer your question?
You did.
Yeah.
I think I'm having another brain.
Do you ever struggle with like lack of motivation, even though you do have the habits set in place, you have the routine, you have the schedule, but do you ever have any challenges when it comes to that? Because we've been hearing a lot of people with, like they don't have the gym now they're stuck working out at home.
Oh, that's an excuse.
Yes,
that's an excuse.
Yes, it is.
It's nothing but an excuse. I could have used that years ago too, but I've been through this now, and I know you can't make excuses for yourself. If you want to get anywhere, you've got to put in 100%. Doesn't matter what it is that you're doing, 100% or nothing. And that's just how
I think we need to work out together sometime.
Where are you anyway? In the States?
I'm in California. Yeah.
Oh, all my good people are in California. Okay.
Where are you located at?
In Ontario, Canada.
What was it that you did like before you retired? What was your work?
Government. I worked for the Ministry of Transportation.
Okay.
Driver examination.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm guessing that's a job where you had to like sit a lot, or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
A fair amount. Yep.
Okay.
What's your message to someone that's listening to this that just hasn't gotten started yet? What's something that could maybe fire them up, inspire them to get their butts in the gym? Because as of 2-3 years ago, you didn't know anything about this, and now look where you're at.
I think everyone should have an idea of what they want for themselves. And like I just finished saying, anything you do it 100%, and you're going to do it for yourself. You're not going to get into shape because someone else said you should. Mm-hmm. You're going to do it because you want to. Do you want a better life for yourself? Do you want to be happier? Then do what you want. It's got to come from within. Like if I hadn't been ready, didn't matter, because my daughter had been after me for several years, And it came to that point where I was sick of what I was doing. My thing was, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's true. If you want something, then you go after it. There's no one stopping you but you. That's all I can say. Just go for it. Not everyone's going to look like me or like Celine Dion, like nobody's perfect. We're all trying, but we're never going to get there. There ain't nobody on this earth that's perfect. Sorry to say.
Where can people find you, and where can they follow along with that workout that you're going to do tomorrow?
I'm not going to do it tomorrow because I'm not healed enough yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've got to put it off for another week. I'm on Facebook, but that's more private with friends and relatives. Instagram, YouTube. You can plug me in on City TV or CBC, the 73-year-old. That's what it was when they were doing a program with me. So you can, if you want to, in YouTube, I think it's just, one guy said he put it in as seniors exercising or something, and my name popped up. And it was so funny because it was my first time in New York City. We were doing oh my God, there it goes again.
Oh, yes.
We were promoting a product anyway, and we got to go to this gym, and this guy came up to me out of the blue and asked me if I was Joan, train with Joan, and I just about fell over. Anyway, that's what he had done. He put in, on YouTube, seniors training or something like that. And I came up, my name came up, and he's been following me ever since. Like, it's just blow you away. I can't even fathom this technology that brings me into other people's lives. It's daunting.
Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. And I think you know a lot more than you give yourself credit for. Like the information that you gave us today, you had a ton of wisdom and a ton of great advice and a ton of there. Really, when you were explaining your macros, you were like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought you explained it really, really well because you laid it out so simply. So you're obviously getting it. We're inspired by you, and hopefully this gets sent around to a bunch of different people so they can be inspired by it as well.
Well, thank you so much for even having me and letting me blather on. Oh my God. I do run off at the mouth sometimes when I get talking to people, and at least you're showing some interest, which is really great. Thank you very much.
And
I like your product.
Oh, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you.
You too.
Thank you, John. See you
later. Have a great one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yo, she got me so hyped, man. Like when she was saying certain things and she's like, yeah, I don't snack. And yeah, I keep moving. I was just like, yes. Everything is just so perfect. Yes.
Yeah, she was great, especially with so many people talking about fasting. We talk a lot about fasting here on the podcast. And, don't forget there's always more than one way to go about doing it. And some people might have gotten lost when she started talking a little bit, and they might have said, hey, that's kind of a myth. That's not necessarily true. But the things that she said actually are true. And you can, quote unquote, like your metabolism, we don't really know what that means. However, if you eat less and less food, then you're training your body to be efficient with less and less food. Therefore, your body is more than likely going to burn less food. I mean, there's still a lot more that we just don't know, but that's kind of the basics of it. So by her saying, you feed the system and it's going to burn it, a lot of that makes sense. A lot of bodybuilders have utilized that. over the years with great success. And if you really listen to what she was saying, is she has a good amount of energy each day. She feels good every day. She's still dropping weight, but it's very, very slowly. So she continues to get in a little bit better shape. Mm-hmm. She also has lost like over 45 pounds. I think maybe closer to 50 pounds now total. And it's been something that she's been able to keep off as well. And she doesn't look like she's going to be, reversing out of that anytime soon. So she's done I thought that was, some really, really awesome information, even though she was kind of claiming that she doesn't know a lot. I thought she was very well informed.
Which was freaking awesome. Like, I know, like, she probably literally doesn't care about her Instagram following, but like if somebody else had 700,000 followers, they would probably act like they knew more than they actually did. She's on the opposite end. She's acting like she doesn't know as much as she actually does. And even with that, she's still saying, I still need to learn. This is a learning process. So like her workouts are going to change. Her diet's going to change. It's all going to evolve because she's still learning and asking questions. And that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it was like, you remember she said the simple thing of like, people don't move. Like, Mark, the video you sent on the energy balance, right? You'll work out, then you'll get tired. You'll probably sit down. You won't move as much, right? So you won't end up losing some weight. But if you work out, but then you also have good habits of not sitting so much, standing, taking walks, etc., you're going to burn way more calories. That's just a simple thing. Move a little bit more along with exercise. And that's a habit she has. It's a big deal. So all of these simple things that she was talking about, if you actually apply it, boom, you're going to be there.
And there's things that you can, you can try to do things for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week or so. And then sometimes it just your candle starts to kind of burn out. You're like, just don't want to do it anymore. And that's that energy balance thing. It doesn't necessarily happen in a day. You can very easily go for 3 10-minute walks in a day, and you can exercise pretty hard, maybe twice in that same day. But are you going to do that for like 10 years straight? And the other thing is like, do you need to do that for 10? That's the other thing is like, let's try to find an optimal balance. That's why, someone like Rhino, he's like, I work out for about 45 minutes. I do it about 5 days a week. He tries to go in, he does like dips and pull-ups and squats. Maybe he'll deadlift here and there. He's just doing like kind of the basic movements, maybe some overhead pressing. He's getting what he needs from the gym, and then he's getting the hell away from it. He's also making sure that he sleeps all the time. He's also making sure that he's replacing those workouts with really sound nutrition, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, all the stuff that you need to continue to move forward each and every day. Because otherwise, you start to kind of run yourself ragged, and then you're like, should I, shouldn't I? Like once you start getting into that kind of conversation, you kind of already, once you start having that conversation, you're normally going to lose it. You will lose it at some point. Like your willpower, it can be strong, but if you're always relying on it, it will wear thin very quickly.
Yeah, no, that's such a big deal because like, it's crazy how many people are relying on outer motivation to be able to get themselves in shape or to be able to get moving, do the simple things. They're relying on motivation, and right now they've given up. But it's exactly what she said. It's simply just an excuse. Like it needs to turn into something. I think you mentioned this the other day, something as simple as brushing your teeth. That's what this needs to turn into. And it's going to take time. It's going to take repetition of doing that. But after you do it for a while, you'll enjoy it. And then you'll seek that feeling that you have after you finish working out.
And you brush your teeth so your teeth are healthy, right?
So your breath don't stink.
Yeah, so your breath doesn't stink. So your teeth are healthy. Your teeth aren't falling out of your head. So it's just a practice of health. And then if you can just think like, how can I do the same thing with my body? Going for a walk and getting in some sort of workout, something where your heart rate goes up, something where you breathe a little bit heavy. I mean, every day you should be in some deep thought. Every day you should breathe hard. Every day you should love and be loved. Every day you should, some people say you should cry. I don't know if you need to go that far, but you should have some empathy. Like, these are all things that your body, mind, and spirit should be running through almost every single day. And it is a lot. It's a lot that goes on, right? It costs you a lot, but you should be and laughing, smiling. Like, shit, man, those things are crucial. And you'll find yourself, the give and take of the human body is amazing, because the better shape that you're in, the better that you think that you look. It doesn't even matter how you look. If you just think that you look good, you'll probably smile more. And if you're thinking that you look good, you probably have a body or a smile that you're proud of, and that's probably why you're gleaming from ear to ear. So it's all a factor, as she said, within. She talked about it coming from within. I thought that was really true. Like, you're not going to get in shape because Andrew tells you that you're fat. You're not going to get in shape because so-and-so tells you that you're fat or that you need to be in better shape. You're going to get in shape because you decided that you need to.
Yeah, that was my favorite part right there, was when she's talking about how it has to come from within. Yeah. I know we just had Ross Edgley on saying pretty much the same thing, just in a different accent. But I absolutely love that. And it also, that's going to take time for people to understand too, because they're going to see The Rock on Instagram and I want to look like that. It's like, okay, well, understand you're probably not going to look that way. But if you can internalize it and make it for yourself, then you'll become a version of that. You won't be, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Are you sure? I've been all these years, I've been really trying to be Dwayne. Every single morning I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, you're Dwayne, you're Dwayne, you're Dwayne. Honestly, is it not working?
You have a better taper than him. So I would say, like, if you want to look more like him, you got to get a little bit thicker, like be more.
I'm messing around. Yo, but something that Joan said when she was talking about people on their phones, right? And now the pandemic, it got me thinking, like, even before this whole quarantine and whatever, people were already social distancing and not even realizing it. Maybe you weren't as far from other people and physically, but when you go out and you see people not really talking to each other, they're just literally on their phone all the time in front of everybody. We've already been doing a version of this for a while.
Yeah, that's like when I had been saying, like, it's just fast forwarded things. Like, kids were already living in the virtual world. Now there's nowhere else to go. Before they had an option. Now it's just like, nah, that's just what you do. And then we were already relying on technology to, like, get through our days. And now that's the only way we can get through our days.
Yeah.
Let's say that all three of us went on a walk, right? If all three of us were to go on a walk and we didn't have headphones on and we weren't looking at our phones and we were maybe not in conversation, right? Let's just say that we're not talking at all, which is kind of uncommon. We know each other really well, and so that wouldn't be too weird. But we're also not like family, so we're not that close to where we would just be walking endlessly and no one saying anything, right? But I think that's the stuff that people are missing right there, because she was talking about being engaged in conversation, and I don't think it has anything to do with being engaged in conversation. It has to do with kind of calming down your mind and your body, and you're on a walk, and if all three of us were on a walk, I would kind of be thinking about you guys even if we didn't say anything. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you just kind of like, you need to be with your significant other just because you need to be. It's not necessarily, some of those compromises, right? It's not about what you want to watch. It's not, that's not what it's about, because if it's about what you want to watch, then you can be in two different rooms, watch two different things. Not a huge problem. But if that happens all the time, that is a massive problem. You have to just be with each other. And I've talked about this before too. It's not, people always talk about like quality time. And I don't think you need to worry about quality time. You just need a lot of time. You need quantity time. You need to figure out, how can we be together? But I can't be with you if you're concentrating on your phone, because even if you're on your phone for a minute, it's a minute that you're not concentrating on me. It's a minute that you're not thinking about what we're engaged in. So again, using us as an example, if we're on a walk, I'm thinking about you guys. I'm thinking about the podcast. I might think about a new guest, or one of you guys might come up with a new concept, and then we'll get talking and we'll get engaged in conversation. But the conversation itself isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is that we're with each other and that we're thinking about each other. Yeah. I think about you guys 24/7, by the way.
Think about you guys
likewise. Too. Yeah, I feel like it grounds you. You know, like looking at just an electrical outlet, you know, it has that big prong in the middle. Without it, shit would get weird.
Prongs.
So when I think about you guys, you're my prongs.
You know, I think on what you guys just said, a really good idea, because like I'm trying to remember when's the last time I maybe did this. I think it was last week. I don't do it much, but I need to do it more. When I go on walks, instead of taking my phone, leave my phone and take a notebook. Because when I go on walks where I don't have my phone, my like I just come up with cool new ideas that I wouldn't have been able to come up with if I wasn't in front of something, if something else wasn't taking my attention. And when you're walking and you're on your phone, even if you're listening to music, that other stuff has your attention, and it's limiting you from being able to really just have your thoughts and think about new things.
We should have somebody on the podcast that talks about going for a walk in nature. Yeah, I really think it's neat how so many of these podcasts are connected, and it's probably because of the bias that we have towards certain people. I'm sure there's like some quantum reasons why we're attracted to certain people that we choose that come on the show, but it's amazing how much in common, how much everyone kind of links together and weaves together. It seems like it happens just kind of over and over and over again.
Yep. It's really weird, but it's really dope. Man, no, dude, Joan's energy, I was just so hyped while I was listening to her. Like, I was just so excited just because of the energy that she brought and the things that she was talking about. Like, God, she's brilliant. She's awesome.
I can't wait to share this with, all of my elders. Elders, I don't mean like super old. It's just, like my parents, in-laws, sister, like everybody. Like it's gonna be sick.
It's fair to say she's old, there's like quarters of your life, I would say, right? She's in the fourth, she's getting close to the fourth quarter, right? She's almost, let's say that we just are hopeful and we live to 100, right? She's getting close to like she's getting close to the fourth quarter. So it's fair to say that she's an older person, right? But she's still very capable. And I think that's something that's really important. I know, like when my dad was sick in the hospital, my dad was in the hospital for like 60 something straight days, and he atrophied a lot and he got really small. And I think he maybe got down to like 140 pounds or something. It got to be really, really rough. I mean, it was, wow. We basically accepted the fact that he was gone. We went through all that process, and we were hopeful that he would come out the other end okay. But having to go through that process and go through all that, my only concern the entire time was, look, if he is able to survive this, like, please, let's have his mind still be strong. Because if his mind is strong, then he can still do whatever he'd like to do. Like, I know how much my dad loves to interact with people. He loves to talk to people. He's been doing taxes for, I don't know, the last 40 years or so. And he loves helping people. He loves giving them financial advice. He loves to be able to communicate with people. He's pretty happy. And I was like, man, if that part of him is compromised, then we would be better off with it being over, as nasty as that sounds. I mean, I thought that to myself because I know how much he enjoys like the interaction with people. But, I was mentioning to you guys just in a text the other day, like, I realize that I'm not the 70, but I think 43 and having 30 years of training under my belt, some people would say, yeah, that's getting there. Right. But I don't feel anything. I don't feel old. Nothing hurts. My right knee has a little bit of like tendonitis, but that's been there since I've been like 16 or 17 years old. Mm-hmm. I used to love playing basketball, and I just would never stop playing, even though my knee would swell up. And I probably did something to it a long time ago. I never got it checked out, and it's probably as simple as getting it scoped or something like that. But I don't ever get anything checked out for some reason. But anyway, I don't think that you have to, because you're getting older, I don't think that means that you need to be old. I think you can always try to keep your mind young. You can always try to keep your brain young, and you can always try to, and one of the key factors is to be around young people. And that's been really helpful for me at Slingshot. The entire staff is very young. And that helps me. It just helps me with all kinds of stuff. It's motivational. It's inspiring. It's cool to see Nsima doing the different moves that he's doing with the kettlebell. It's inspiring to have worked out with you guys the other day on the stairs, and I feel like I could still do really well, even though it was kicking all of our asses. But
tough.
I'm looking at Nsima and I'm like, he's in his 20s. He's fucking jacked. And this is just cool that I'm able to be on the stairs with him. Like, never mind trying to like go head to head with him or anything. And seeing Jessica Smith doing strongman stuff in the gym, and all the different athletes, all the different people that we've had coming through, it's like it keeps you young. And we've had Jay Cutler come through. We've had Stan Efferding. We've had Dr. Sean Baker. Look at Sean Baker. Look how good he looks right now. He's looking jacked. He's looking shredded. These are guys that aren't young. These are guys that have competed at a high level, and they continue to put up points on the scoreboard. They continue to look great too.
Yeah. Andrew, you remember, you've mentioned this before, that book, with the old people, and they got around some young people. Can you know that better than me? Can you please inform the public about that?
Yeah, no, it was, so they just took a group of elderly people, we'll say that they were, Joan's age, and they took them into like this retreat, and they're just like, hey, for the next 2 weeks, you're going to live the way you lived, like, I think it was like 40 years ago, whatever it may be, or maybe it was more than that. Well, just for argument's sake, we'll say it was 60 years ago. And the everything, the TV, the newspapers, the magazines, everything was as it was 60 years ago. And they're like, only talk about things that are topical 60 years ago only. And so these old people, they like limped into this facility. They were on walkers, wheelchairs, whatever. By the end, they were all playing like touch football, running around the place. And so what ended up happening basically is they made their minds younger, and like they even did some like legit tests with like I don't remember exactly what test they ran. Muscle fibers, whatever you want to, can imagine. And they show that their bodies actually did get younger, all because they just put their mind in that state. They were able to age the other way.
Yeah. Don't let your mind be on a walker, right? I was running, I ran the same hill that I showed you guys the other day, and I got another PR in there.
Yeah.
But as I was running it, I got to a point where I'm like, oh man, like, okay, like I really feel that. And I'm trying to deny the fact that it's getting difficult, right? I'm trying to like reinterpret it as something different. I'm like, all right, you're just breathing hard, like no big deal. Just keep moving your feet. It's one foot in front of the other. And the more that you go down that path and the more you think that way, the harder it gets, because really, truthfully, if it was really easy for you, you just breeze through it and you wouldn't even really think about it, right? Mm-hmm. But I was just thinking about, okay, like what if Cam Hanes was here? Like Cam Hanes, it would be very like he would show me that there's there's another level to this, right? He would show me like, hey, here's what the human body's capable of, and he'd go bloop, and he'd go flying right up the hill in 2 minutes or whatever, right? And so I was just trying to keep that in mind. Like, yes, this is a kind of a difficult pace for me, but it won't be a difficult pace for me a while from now, because I'm going to adapt to this. I'll get used to this. I'm sure Cam Hanes wasn't able to do the stuff he's able to do now, 20 years ago and stuff like that. So I've been kind of thinking along those lines, which is really fun for me, having been exercising for so long. There's so much other shit I can get good at. And Nsima, like you could start working on handstand walks or something that you haven't really done before. And I commended you about your kettlebells. I'm like, that's awesome. Like I don't remember seeing you do much with kettlebells before. And now here you are zinging around these kettlebells, doing these full on, 45-minute kettlebell workouts with a pretty damn heavy weight. So it's amazing what you can adapt to. And I think having Joan on the podcast today was amazing, because she didn't start her fitness journey until she was 71 years old.
Yeah. And the thing is like, the thing that frustrates me about, like, I guess what she was saying when people on social media are like, oh, you must be doing this, you must be doing that. Like, come on, people. Like, did you see her before picture? There's no negativity that should be linked towards that. Mm-hmm. If anything, it should just be people like, God dang, I'm 30 something, I'm 40 something, I'm 50 something. I should be able to do something like that. Like, come on.
I think I saw Sean Baker is going to get a test. I don't know if like the thing that he competes in or whatever, the rowing, I'm not sure if they wanted him to get a test or whatever, but I know that somebody else has been challenging him as well. And I think the two things just happen to kind of hit at the same time. So he's like, yes, I'm finally going to get tested so you guys can see or whatever. But, you know, it's never enough for people, you know, like it's, who ran the test, or, you could just, you could just pay to, you know, Zuckerberg. You could just, you could pay any old person to like pass your test or whatever, you know, like it's never going to be, if we try to do a Natty Professor test, it would be like,
I knew you were going to test me.
Mark Bell ran the test, and of course he's going to say he's natural, right?
Yeah, he's just doing it so long he knows when to cycle off to pass a test.
Yeah,
yeah. And for Sean Baker, he always puts it out there like, oh, you vegans don't think that I'm natty? I will do any test if you pay for it. So he's always challenging people to challenge him, and I think he's like, so finally someone stepped up. We'll see if he ponies up for the test or not.
I don't think anybody would say anything to Sean Baker if they saw him in person. No. He's a monster.
He's so big.
Like 6'4" or something.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like, you rip your arms off and beat you over the head with them.
Well, and eat it.
I don't think I mentioned this to you, Nsima. I don't know if it was real or if it was like messing around or what it was, but I just saw it kind of in passing. But that, is it Nicky Rodriguez? I think he is in WWE.
Yeah, no, I saw that. He's doing the WWE Next thing or whatever. So I don't know what Next is, but I guess it's like, yeah, he's getting into that. That dude is acrobatic and massive. He'll be
amazing for that. He's got the right personality for it, you know, along with all the credentials that he has. He should be really good in wrestling.
Oh yeah, no, he's got a really, I guess, magnetic type of personality, and he just doesn't give a fuck, and he just says what he wants to say. So he's gonna kill, man. And he's young. He's only 23 too. It's crazy.
I love that. He just kind of came into the jiu-jitsu world and started flipping it on its head, right?
He pretty much just started fucking up black belts along with his partner, Gordon Ryan, who, by the way, Gordon Ryan, I think, got his black belt in like 4 years under Danaher and started destroying the top no-gi black belts. As an American, it's just unheard of. Man. Gordon Ryan would be crazy.
Yeah, was that the guy that was like, he made his own version of jiu-jitsu and people were getting upset?
That's Keenan Cornelius. I think he has a school somewhere in SoCal, and it's AJJ, American Jiu-Jitsu. Okay. Yeah, the Brazilians were not happy about that, but yeah.
That's cool. It's like, hey, you did it this way. I'm going to do it this way instead. I think this is better. And then to actually be able to beat people with it is great.
Yeah. No, like, there's something about Keenan, if people don't know, he developed or he refined the lapel guard, and pretty much you can coin that to Keenan, and people have been using that in tournaments, and it's changed the way people have to play the game. So when you change the way people have to do a martial art that's been here for over 60 whatever years, hey, that's...
Remind me when we get off the podcast, if you guys wouldn't mind just texting me, and I can get some of these guys. I've been in contact with them before, but we were trying to get them here and stuff like that. But now that we have this situation, we could just, you know, very easily do a Zoom interview. It'd be really cool to make contact with them, especially like going into the WWE. That's really interesting because like it's you know, yeah, you got to like get paid. He's still young. You know, he could wrestle for 7 years and, you know, be out of it by the time he's 32, 33 years old, something like that. And it's pretty neat.
Yeah. No, I'll text them all to you, man. They'd definitely be open because like Gordon's doing a podcast with Flo right now. And I think, yeah, they've had a few interesting people on, so it'd be super easy to do. You got this.
Awesome. What else you guys got going on today?
I'm going to make the next part of this like fat loss autopilot thing, finish it up. And then I'm going to do a workout because I haven't worked out yet. I want to do some jump roping. And you know, the stupid thing that I really just realized as we were talking, when Joan mentioned bands, I have some bands here and I could have been doing some dope banded kettlebell swings, but I just haven't this whole time. Like, fuck. I've been missing out on
banded stuff.
Yeah. So the band would be on your feet, kind of like if you were standing on a band and, you know, you'd maybe be doing some upright row raises, but you would
run it through the middle of the kettlebell, right?
Run it through the middle of the kettlebell, and the swing gets harder at the top. So you really have to drive through hard, and then it comes back, and it comes down fast. So you got to be careful.
I'd imagine that thing would like slingshot right back at you. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Have you messed around with a sumo deadlift high pull before, Nsima?
No, I don't think I have. Sumo deadlift high pull?
Yeah, you should check it out. Just look it up on it's a CrossFit move. A lot of people hate it because people hate upright rows. But a sumo deadlift high pull, I mean, with the kettlebell that you have, it won't be challenging. It'd be a very light weight. Like you would be able to do it with one of our bigger ones that we have at the gym. But it might be good to try in between some of your other exercises. It'll get your heart rate going pretty good.
Oh, I think I have done that. It's the one where you swing and then you bring it up here and then you bring it back.
That's all it is. Yeah.
I know. I've done that a few times, but I've never had it as a structured part of my workout. So I should put it in. But yeah, I've done it a few times.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't bug your shoulder, I think it would be a good movement to throw in there.
Yeah, man. If you guys can, just grab a kettlebell because it can add so much to your workout, and it's so easy to use. Just grab one, please.
Oh, do we have any information on like when and where this Thor lift is happening? Like, is it on like regular ESPN, or is it on like an ESPN app, or it's today's Friday, right? So it'd be tomorrow. At some point, right?
Yeah. I mean, by the time people hear this, it'll be too late.
Oh, dang!
Damn! I can't believe Thor hit that lift.
Yeah, that's amazing. He went for 560 and said, "Shout out to Mark Bell's Power Project."
Okay, so the event will air live on ESPN and stream live on Core Sports World with commentary from strongman Lawrence Bigelow's Chalet. Yeah, so ESPN and Core Sports World.
Mark, are your neighbors just like looking at you all weird because you're on the balcony right now?
Yeah, there's a guy with a camera. I think he's just taking like pictures. Just it's so nice out here. It's ridiculous. But I also have like I have my shorts like horked way up. You know, like I got the lifting diaper going, the squat diaper going on.
Getting your
because I'm trying to get my legs. It's so weird. Like the side of my legs are just like always white. I don't know why. Like it's weird because like. I mean, I'm not laying sideways. Like if I'm going to sit here, you know, and read or something like that, or sit here and just be in the sun. But like when I go and run and when I do anything, like a lot of times I have my shirt off or I have my legs exposed a little bit. And like the side of my legs are just always white. It's so strange.
That's hilarious.
Like what the hell's wrong with these legs? Why won't they tan?
I wouldn't know, man. That's, I guess you need to consult Andrew.
I don't know. Maybe blood flow restriction to that side or something.
Maybe put some oil there, or maybe some oil would help.
Hey now, I'm getting a sauna. I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm gonna throw some red light in there, and then I want to also see if I could throw some UV light in there. But I don't know if I would like die if I had all those different lights in there. I don't know, like you know what you're supposed to do with them. But remember when we had the guy on a podcast who was saying he does the UV light like just for a couple minutes a day or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Berardi, right? Yeah. I was just trying to think. I was like, man, that'd be convenient if I had all that in there. I could, you know, put this one on for like 6 minutes, put this other one on for like 6 minutes, and then jet on out of there. You know?
Yeah, just throw in some blue light just to neutralize everything, just in case.
After you guys work out, you can come over and we can converge in there and just get that stink going, get that smell going, and just enjoy each other.
Yeah, we'll go in the hot tub and then we'll go into the sauna and enjoy each other.
Take it all in. I mean,
Yo, oh my God. I just think it's funny because I'm a kid, so I make these dumb jokes, and my girl's like, "Why are you making all these immature dick jokes? Like, I don't like. That's not funny.
Dick jokes are great.
I think dick jokes are awesome.
They're always
I'm a
great.
child.
There's nothing better.
Yeah, and that's what she said. Like, I mean, come on.
That never gets old.
That never gets old. Even a fart joke, it's like you can't not laugh at a fart.
Nope.
I mean, if you're not laughing at a fart, then you're just too uptight or something. Something's wrong. Something.
You probably have a stuck fart.
Yeah. Yeah. Something ain't right.
Oh my gosh.
Does Andy ever get, or Andrew, does Stephanie ever get at you for like just making stupid jokes or like dumb stuff like that?
I'm usually okay at keeping it pretty mellow around her, but like I will do like stupid stuff and then just like kind of wait for her to get it. Like I don't know, like whatever it could be. Like she might be like she'll take a bite of something and she'll be like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And I'm like, "Yeah, but what about the food?" And then like I'm talking about myself, and she's like, "Oh, I get it now." But like just little stupid things like that, like I'll just drop in here and there, and eventually she's just like, "Oh, you're so silly." But she doesn't really ever say like it's stupid because
I make stupid jokes. I really do.
I'm pretty relentless with them, and I guess I have slowed down with them a little bit over the years, but Andy could say like, "Oh, my neck hurts," and I'll say, "You know why your neck hurts? You got to keep in mind, I grew up with two older brothers that like anytime there's an opportunity to like, wreck somebody, you always did it, So she sent me a picture yesterday. It was a really nice picture of her and I, and then she sent me like a couple pictures of the kids or whatever. And then she sent another picture of her and I together. And I wrote back to her. I said, "Back when you weren't such a bitch," and I put "bitch" in like giant caps, and I put like 3 exclamation points. And even I was thinking like that's a little risky, but I think she's gonna laugh. And then she just sent me a meme back. She sent me just like a meme like of somebody just doing like a shocked face or whatever. And so she laughs about it. I mean, we both pick on each other all the time. We both say weird crazy stuff too, and I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person when it comes to like anytime there's opportunities. You guys know me really well. Anytime there's opportunity for a racial joke, anytime there's opportunity for something that's like misogynist or something like that, like I'm always talking about her cleaning the kitchen and all this stuff. But it just totally just my weird way of messing around. But she messes around with me all the time too.
Yeah.
But even if there's not an opportunity, you'll make it. Like,
oh yeah,
like the video you sent me last night.
Oh yeah,
was it the shit. Mario one or no? No. Okay.
Nope. Mark just sent.
Oh, that video is great.
No, Mark is sitting there.
If you know, you know, right?
If you know, you know.
Yeah, actually, I don't know.
I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah. No.
I think that's like what the shirt is or something, right? Of that guy. Right? If you know, you know, right?
Damn, no.
I sent Andrew a video last night.
Okay.
Talking shit.
Are you allowed to tell us what it is, Andrew, or is it like...
Yeah, no. He's wearing his like $1 million Jimmy Garoppolo hoodie sweater thing, a 49er sweater.
Yeah.
And he's just talking shit, saying that I'm not a real Niner fan because I don't have that exact sweater that you can probably only get at Levi Stadium that he bought this year, or that Andy got him this year. And it's just, it's just perfect because he knows how to cut deep.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, when you open that, please let me know how you feel.
The good thing is that nobody listens to this show, so no one's going to think differently of me.
All right, Andrew, you got it. You can't dodge that one. People don't even know what we're talking about here. Okay. So good. I'll describe it to you guys. You guys know, and Mark sent this to me, and I sent this to like 30 people after he sent it to me. Like literally everybody. But you guys know that guy with the massive hog sitting on the edge of the bed, right? It's like thick and long, and it's scary. Well, what this is it's a GIF of Mario running up to he's jumping up and he's hitting the block. But instead of a mushroom coming out, it's this guy and his big old dick, and it just comes flying at you in the screen.
And it makes the Mario noise.
The great thing is it's not even like, it's not done well, and it looks so good. Like, it's so much better that way.
Yes.
Oh my God. See, that's what the internet's for right there.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
I still find it so funny to this day. I love it, man.
That's how we need to use Instagram, not for triggering.
Oh, God.
Amazing. Thanks.
All right. Well, I haven't got my workout in yet. I got to probably hit up like a run walk. I might mess around with those triads again. That would be fun. Weather out here is pretty awesome. Hopefully I get tanned. Hopefully I can figure out how to tan the side of my legs here. Andrew, why don't you take us on out of here, buddy?
Thank you, everybody, for checking out this episode. Up until Joan was, or I guess that whole portion of the podcast, I'm sure you guys got a lot of value out of that. Maybe not so much the rest. So if you did, please share that, or share this episode with somebody who you think might find value in it as well. And for everybody else, please make sure you're following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. My Instagram is at I am Andrew Z. Oh, and also thank you, Piedmontese, for sponsoring this episode. For more information, links will be down in the YouTube description and iTunes show notes. Nsima, where you at?
At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube. At Nsima Yin Yang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark?
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch y'all later.